Did Israel steal land from Palestinians? This is a myth the Islamic Republic loves to promote. The reality is that Jews are from this land for thousands of years, long before the Arabs, a fact proven by looking at your own history with King Cyrus, who protected the Jewish people and enabled them to return and build a temple in Jerusalem. Jews have had a continuous presence in this land for thousands of years, despite multiple expulsions by colonial occupiers. The Palestinians are an Arab people who came to this land only after the 7th century, and they did not even identify as an entity called Palestinians until the 1960s with Yasser Arafat. Before 1948, Palestinian actually referred to Jews most of the time because of the British mandate for Palestine. There actually has never even been a state of Palestine, Arab or otherwise. The name Palestine came from the Romans, who renamed Judea and Samaria Syria Palestina as a punishment to the Jews who revolted against the Roman Empire. But in 1948, there were many Jews and Arabs who lived in the territory after Israel declared independence from Britain on the basis of the partition plan, which granted the Arabs fertile land, unlike the Jewish state. It was the Arab states which launched a massive war to destroy the state of Israel and lost. 750,000 Arabs fled, or in some cases were expelled in the course of fighting. But all Arabs who remained in their homes were granted full citizenship with equal rights and their properties. Palestinians who fled after their leaders told them to flee were not allowed to return once Israel won the war, due to both security threats and the fact new borders were determined in a ceasefire with Arab states, as there was no Palestinian state. Let me repeat that. There was no state of Palestine. Palestine didn't even fight Israel in 1948 because it didn't exist. It was part of Egypt and Jordan, although they illegally occupied the West Bank from its former rulers, which were the British, and before that, the Ottomans. Since then, there's been no systemic campaign to steal land from Palestinians, even when it comes to the West Bank. It's important to remember that it has never been Palestinian land. Palestinians aren't being kicked out of their homes so Jews can move in, and property isn't being stolen. Property has, however, been legally purchased in the West Bank as a byproduct of a lack of direct negotiations by both sides. Whatever one thinks of settlements, land theft is not the correct criticism. It's important to add that there are also controversial court cases of Palestinians who refuse to pay rent on property they think they own, when the owners, Jews, literally have the deeds to the house. This is a housing dispute, not a governmental conspiracy to drive Palestinians out of their homes. All this said, Palestinians do exist today and should have rights. They have their own government and leadership in Gaza and the West Bank. But instead of establishing formal borders through negotiations, they've continuously refused to negotiate with Israel and engaged in violence, often with the money and backing of the regime in Iran. Today, sadly, Palestinian leaders are more invested in padding their foreign bank accounts than they are in fixing the Palestinian society and creating a better future for their people. After all, as the Islamic Republic knows all too well, it's much easier to blame someone else for your failures than it is to take responsibility and fix the problems in your own house.